this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and I'm here on Monday, January 6th for a regular Flosstube update, so you're in the right place if that's what you're looking for. I'll go over what I have worked on since the first, because I did a whip parade that included everything else that I've worked on in 2019. So, and then what I'm planning to work on this coming week. I've decided to go ahead and stick with the Facebook group Enchanted Stitching Challenges. I really like their format and their flexibility. So it's a Disney themed challenge group, and each month has the challenge focuses around one movie. So in January, it's the movie Peter Pan. However, the first week of January, since it was only a partial week, they did like a special New Year's leap year challenge thing. So everything was, the point values were different and the stitch counts were different, divisible by 4 because of the leap year this year. So I picked 4 pieces for that challenge and managed to finish them all, which I was very surprised by. The last one I didn't get the full points. I only got to like half as much as I needed for the largest one, so it only counted for the medium goal, which is fine, but I still got some love on that one. So I'll share with you, maybe first I'll share with you my finish, which some of you may have seen on Instagram. This is my finished temperature balloons. I'm trying a new iPad today. We'll see if I can get it off of this onto my computer to be able to edit it. So we'll see if the coloring is okay. It's also the afternoon, so the lighting is different than sometimes. This is on 28 count light blue even weave by MCG Textiles. Used to be found at Hobby Lobby, but now they carry this Weigart Artiste brand, which is a lighter blue than this. But here's my balloons, which turned out really cute, I think. So that's fun. We didn't end up getting as hot as we have in the past, so the top 2 colors on both of this and my quilt didn't get used, which is kind of unfortunate. You don't want to live through triple digit temperatures, but you want to stitch them. So let's see, one of the ones I used for the challenge at the first of the year was my temperature quilt, which I'll show you that here. This is what it looked like last time, and here it is now. But when the first, I stitched on this last block, either the 1st or the 2nd of January. So that was done when I decided to use this for the challenge, but I decided to go ahead and use the 220 stitches. It was the goal for the biggest point value thing challenge. So I stitched along here, 220 stitches for that. And so this will be coming out periodically, either for the challenges or once my kids go back to school for the in the car, you know, or whenever I'm watching TV or whatever. I'll keep working my way along here and on the bottom, because that's all I have left. I filled in these bottom bits where the months are shorter, and that's almost finished. So, and then my next temperature piece, I'll just show it since it's in here, is my newest one, temperature tree, and this is what that will look like. And all 3 of these plus my temperature garden will be are in my Etsy shop, and the garden's right there. And this is where I'm at now. I don't like the lighting. It's washing everything out. It looks crisper, but it doesn't look like the color is very good. So anyways, this is also light blue, but it looks white. So that's unfortunate. It's light blue. This is the new stuff from Hobby Lobby. And this is Cocoa Bean, which is a warmer brown that's showing up. Everything's much warmer in real life. And I have the first 4 leaves stitched. I can stitch the next one today too. So far, warmer than I was hoping for January, but it is what it is. It'll probably cool down again, because we do have wintry temperatures in January and February. So, but it comes and goes with practically spring weather. These are 60s and 70s right here. So, and it's pretty nice out today too. Nice sunny day. It's probably low 70s out there, which is good, but not when you're wanting to stitch all the colors all over your tree. So that's a fun one, and I will actually be working on this for this week's challenge. I chose one of the challenges for Peter Pan was to work on something that makes you wonderfully happy, because you have to think happy thoughts to be able to fly with Tinkerbell's pixie dust. And this one makes me very happy because it's very fun to stitch, but it also is very well received, and a lot of you love it, and it's really fun to see everybody enjoying it, and that makes me happy. So I'm going to work on that one, and the bulk of the 250 stitches that I'll need for that challenge will come, I'll be working in the trunk. I'll still do like a leaf every day. So far I've done 1 leaf a day, and they go really fast. So you could easily wait a week and do a whole week's worth of leaves, and it would, you know, take you just a few minutes. But so far it's been fun to do 1 leaf a day just because. That's not going to get me very far in the challenge, so I'll go ahead and work some more lengths of, I think it's actually not Weeks Dye Works. I think I said it wrong last time. Classic Colorworks. Classic Colorworks Cocoa Bean is what I'm using for the trunk. So I'll work another length or 2 of that to get most of the stitches that I need for that challenge. And what else did I work on last week? I made a new start on the 1st of the year. I had told you I was going to be starting my needlepoint piece, and I decided not to, partly because I wanted to use Pattern Keeper a little bit more, and another part because the needlepoint piece takes some time to like cut and staple on or thumbtack down or whatever onto the stretcher bars, and I was just kind of feeling like starting something on fancy fabric, so I decided, you know what, Rosetto is my needlepoint piece is pinks and greens, so that would be a nice one for February with being near Valentine's Day, so I decided to save that one for next month. Because my goals for 2020 in general, so far, subject to change, I would like to start 20 things and finish 20 goals. Not necessarily 20 items, because a lot of my pieces are large, but I have 20 goals that I want to accomplish. And I actually found 21, I believe, when I was going through my whip parade of things I could do. 22. So if I think of things, I'll just keep adding them, and hopefully I'll have 20 finished. 20, like meet 20 goals, even if I have more than 20 to shoot for, if that makes any sense. And I'm hoping for the starts to do 10 fancy ladies and 10 non-fancy ladies. So that's kind of my thinking. So I worked on the Crazy Wonderful Owl Family by Heaven and Earth Designs. It's a no background version, so it's technically not a full coverage piece, and I'll put a picture in of what it will look like because I've been working on it on Pattern Keeper. And this is my start. I'm working on it on Glacier. I picture this plus, and that's more like it down there. And I have 220 some odd stitches for the challenge right there in the middle. And this is Papa Owl's arm that he's lifting up my middle son who's hanging by his feet. Because this is 28 count 1/1. Although because this is Picture This Plus hand dyed, I measured it and it's more like a 31 count. So it's a lot tighter than I was expecting, but it's so far working, and obviously only one color in. But it doesn't seem too tight. I'm a little nervous to get some stitches in there in the holes, but hopefully it'll be all right. We'll have to wait and see when I finish out some of the confetti bits. But so that's the start. It'll be bigger. It's longer than it is tall, but I like this fabric, so that's fun. First time using Picture This Plus. And first time, oh, I forgot to bring that. I didn't bring my diamond painting, but I didn't get very far on it. I started using Pattern Keeper on my diamond painting, and I loved it. I had several comments of people who didn't yet know about it, so I'll share a little bit about Pattern Keeper. It is a Android-only cross-stitch app. It's hard to convert. It's hard to provide things for Apple. I guess there's too many hoops to jump through, or it's too expensive, or something. Or I'm not sure exactly what the hang-ups are, but an Apple version is a long time coming, at least a year, it sounds like. So I asked for a Kindle Fire for Christmas, and I received it. So The Kindle Fire is not an Android product, but they have a workaround where you can get Google Play on your Kindle, and then you can get Pattern Keeper. So I'll link below the videos that I used to help me figure this out, because I followed a video to get Google Play on my Kindle Fire, and you have to install 4 different softwares or apps or something, and it shows you step by step how to do that. So I found a random YouTube video that walked me through that, and it worked. So I'll link that video, and then I have another video, or, well, I guess with the other ones you could just look up Pattern Keeper on YouTube, and there's a few really nice tutorials to get you started. Some of the main features that I liked were you can select your color, and it shows up everything in that symbol, which means you can work over column breaks and over pages really nicely. You won't miss any symbols. The other thing I liked is when you click on a symbol, it'll tell you immediately what color that is. So that's going to save you light years of time, just because you don't have to sift through pages and pages of symbols to try to figure out which one you're going to need to go find out of your floss box, or however you do that. Especially with full coverage, where you've got like 90 up to, if it's a max color, you've got 250 colors. It's hard to find those symbols. So that'll be a lifesaver. Just you click on it, and it tells you, oh, that's 865. And you're like, oh, perfect, let's go find 865. You know, it's going to save a lot of time, just that. The other thing I found once I started working on the Crazy Wonderful Owl family is when you have a symbol highlighted or like searched where it's all like showing up as just that symbol, then you go over to the marking off section of the marking off, like, what do you call it? There's 3 modes, I guess. You have the mode to move around on the chart, and then a mode to select symbols, and then another mode to actually mark the symbols. So when you've got something selected, then you're in the marking section. If you just swipe across a row or something, it'll only mark the symbols of the color you have selected. So if you have a row that has, like, you've been stitch, stitch, blank, blank, stitch, stitch, blank, blank, you just go right across and it'll only highlight the ones you have selected, which is super cool. It makes it go really fast. You don't have to worry about, like, touching each one individually because you don't want to mark one that you didn't actually stitch because it's a different color. So I don't know if that made sense, but I thought that was super cool too. So I really enjoyed it. I'm hoping it'll work well for all my full coverages, and that's exciting. So I have a couple more full coverage pieces in the rotation this week, and so I'll get those uploaded to Pattern Keeper. The other thing I did to get my patterns there is I put my patterns on Google Drive, which I already had on my computer, and then downloaded Google Drive on my Kindle Fire, and then Pattern Keeper can access Google Drive to be able to find all your patterns. So that's how I did that. And let's see. That was long-winded. Okay, something else. 2 other things I worked on for the challenges last week was Touchdown for my son. There was one about for New Year's making lots of noise, and I figured football players and football games make lots of noise, so that's kind of what I went with for that one. And where is this? This is what it looked like the last time you saw it, which would have been my whip parade last week. And here it is now. This is in the same 28 count even weave that my 2019 temperature pieces are on, only this is 2/2 instead of 1/1. So I finished up the string that was on my needle, which was a little bit of light gray right in here for some shading, which is really hard to see because it's really close, really light gray. It's practically white. And then I did a whole bunch in this leg right here to make the 220 stitches. So that's where that is. And it's nice to just have the challenges to kind of chip away and have a goal and feel accomplished and move along. Because I've got so many things, it's nice to like put some love into something and know that you made a significant amount of progress before moving along onto something else. And this may not seem like a lot of progress to some people, but for me it's nice to have that sense of completion and yes, I met my goal. I can move to a new project with sense of accomplishment. So that's nice. And then I also worked on this one. At the last minute, I realized I had a little bit more time on Sunday to maybe pull something else out. And the last challenge I couldn't figure out what to do was something with food or drink. So I figured, well, I've got, I want to focus on this year to maybe get it finished. So I figured all the time I have, the better. So I figured I'd work on these berries and the peach. I think it was, yeah, this one in the basket because that's food and drink. So this is what that looked like when you saw it before during my whip parade, and here it is now. So here's the berries. I did one color in there and finished off the berries pretty much. There's just one more shade of green in the green bits that needs to be finished, and then those berries and leaves will be done. I think there's one more shade of green up there. And then I came down here and worked on that peach, just right here, just a little bit of this light orange color, not a whole lot. And this is the one that I didn't get the full 220. I got like 119 or something before I had to put it away because the challenge ends 9 o'clock my time because I'm on the West Coast, and all the challenges end on East Coast time. So if I had a little bit more time in the evening, I probably could have gotten to 220, but that's okay. I still feel like I accomplished something and got a goal met. I got a couple points for what I did because I reached the second tier of challenges. So this week I have an Etsy order I'm going to be working on, hopefully during the day, and so that I can still have some time at night. That didn't go very well during Christmas, but it's not Christmas now, so hopefully I can manage to get some time on personal things and professional things. I'm also going to be starting the Bloomtopia SAL. I had kind of wanted to start this today, but I don't know. I might have to wait until tomorrow because I started my my Etsy thing today. So this is a charity stitch along by the Fat Quarter Shop, and they're going to be, I'll link this below. It's where you donate to Make-A-Wish, and then they'll send you the pattern for free. And it's not a mystery, but it is a stitch along where they're only releasing parts of the pattern. And I believe the first part comes out on February 1st. So I'll be stitching it ahead. I won't be able to show you my progress real time, but I'll make little video clips when I finish each part, so that when the February 1st release or the subsequent releases come out, then I'll be able to show those video clips to you of what my version looks like. Yeah, it's every 1st and 15th. There's a new portion of the chart that comes out. So I am doing mine on Ivory Lugana, which is a nice light beige with a bunch of hand-dyed flosses from my collection that I just kind of chose, kind of sort of like the ones called for, but kind of my own thing too. So that's kind of what I'm going to do, and I'm excited to see how that goes. I'm doing it 1/1, so it'll be very tiny, but that's kind of my jam. So, and these are an assortment of color and cotton, Victorian motto, and yeah, just color and cotton and Victorian motto is what I ended up choosing. And I have a color convert with me video that I posted in October, maybe? September, October, when I pulled these colors. So you can go take a look at that if you are interested. So that one I can't do for the challenge because it's kind of a secret so far. And my Etsy stitching I can't do for the challenge because it's personal for a customer, not something that I can share. So I had to pick other things for my enchanted stitching goals. So I picked the temperature tree. I can use that one. Most of that will be trunk that I'll get to. Another one that for Peter Pan was because he lost his shadow and Wendy was stitching on his shadow. We're to stitch on something with dark shadowy colors. So I decided to pull this one out because this is Anne of Green Gables Quick Stitch, and I have a lot of this shadowy bit in the doorway behind her head that I can stitch back here. So that should be easy to get 220 stitches. This is 40 count 1/1 half stitches, 40 count silk gauze. It's very see-through. And I have a video up where I was stitching on silk gauze on another project. This little guy. And this is a freebie that used to be by DMC, but I think you can maybe still find it. But I have a video up where I'm stitching on this, so if you're curious what it looks like to actually stitch on silk gauze, you can go check out that video. Not that I'm an expert, but I've just experimented with that one and this one. This Anne of Green Gables one, which will be full coverage. So this one I can plot into Pattern Keeper, and I'll probably just do like some of the bigger chunks and then where I am. I don't want to take a lot of time, and maybe add more previously stitched stuff as I have time. Whenever I pull this out again, I'll do some more of that. Oh yes, but this is one, this Anne of Green Gables is one that I chose for Full Coverage Fanatics. They have an around the world theme for their monthly challenges this year, where you work on something, each month is a different country. So I believe January is Australia? Yes, January is Australia. And so for each country, I picked 2 of my full coverage pieces that kind of sort of fit that theme, and they gave you a whole bunch of prompts and suggested ideas that might go with that country. And some of my full coverage pieces work for more than one country. So I will be working on this again during the Canada month because it's set in Canada. But I think for this one, they said Australia has a lot of railroad tracks, and she does arrive to Prince Edward Island on a train, or probably the island was on a boat, but she gets to, there's lots of trains in Anne of Green Gables. She arrives at the train station where Matthew meets her and all of that. So I'm using this for trains for Australia. And then the other one I chose for January is Princess of the Sea by Heaven and Earth Designs, because of the coastline. They have a large coastline and lots of ocean because they're an island country. So I'm not working on Princess of the Sea this week, but that will hopefully make it into the plans at some point in January. So when I was looking through the Enchanted Stitching Challenge prompts this week, I was looking at the Full Coverage Fanatics pieces. I was looking at some of the pieces that I want to try to get to in the winter time, which I have Winter Queen here that I'm going to work on, which is one of my winter pieces I want to get to in January and February. My Winter Wonderland band sampler by Chatelaine is also in that category, and that almost made it into this week, but I wanted to work on the temperature tree instead. So because I was thinking that makes you wonderfully happy, I thought it would be funny, Winter Wonderland band sampler. It does make me happy to work on that one, but I think the tree makes me more happy at this point. So I'll work on Winter Queen, something that has to go away for a while because Wendy was having to leave the nursery. And so I figured this one's seasonal, so I probably won't work on it that much in the middle of the year when it's hot. Who knows? I might bring it out in January, but generally it's a seasonal piece, so it's likely that it will go away for a while. So if I figured I'd work on that one. I'll show you that before I forget. But the other things I thought about were my family pieces too. I want to try to fit in my family pieces, which is why I worked on Touchdown last week and then Knitting Woman this week, which I haven't showed you yet. But yes, I'll work on Knitting Woman this week, which is one of my mom's pieces. So here's where Winter Queen is now. You saw this at just like this at the my whip parade a few days ago, but this is where she's at now. I'll probably work up here in her hair and maybe crown, get some beads in too. That'll be fun. So 220 stitches on her, hopefully, if I have time. I'm hopeful that I'll get these done because even though I have other stitching I need to do, I have a whole week. And I managed to get almost all of the goals done last week and I only had half a week, so that would be really fun. And I like this idea of having 4 projects each week to focus on. And the enchanted stitching challenges, focusing on four goals. You know, it's kind of a nice number to have 4 projects, because then if it takes you a couple days to do one, or then you know, it kind of spreads it out nicely over the week, in my opinion. So yeah, so my last one that I had chosen for enchanted stitching is the Knitting Woman, because it said that their dog was their nursemaid, and they said, what would your dream nursemaid be? And I said, my mom. And this reminds me of me and my mom, and mothers make the best nursemaids. So, because when you're sick or you need something, that's what moms are for, right? So I will be gifting this to my mom when it is finished. So, oh yeah, so this is the same as it was when you saw it last, but hopefully I'll get this plugged into Pattern Keeper and see how I go. It would be really nice to get more, get this page finished before too long, and then keep going. So that's where that's at now. 22 count, Aida, 2 over 1 half stitches on this one, and we shall see. So I think that's everything for now. I don't know if I forgot anything. My kids are in the other room, so pardon any noise. Start Bloomtopia, off the record. And then the 4 pieces for my stitching challenges and my Etsy stitching. And then I showed you everything that I worked on last week, and I talked to you a little bit about Pattern Keeper. So I think that's everything I have for you today. Yeah, so I think that will be it for me for today. Hopefully not too long. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy your stitching, whatever you're working on, and the beginning of your new year. And I will hopefully see you next week. Happy stitching. Bye.